Hello and welcome, because today is the WCS episode that you've been waiting for. WCS?
What is that? This is the World Cosplay Summit episode. You might be thinking, alright, I'm interested in entering it. What's it all about? In our experience, Maya almost went to the hospital. We got to call Yaya Han Mummy. Our friend Lewis died. And we almost ended the podcast before we got back from Japan.
Look, it's true. It's true.
We got into a tiff. Several tiffs.
Several tests. The ultimate test of a cosplay friendship is going to WCS. But WCS, if you don't know what that is, we can tell you about that. But in a second, we just want to thank you real quick for clicking on this episode. Because thank you so much for supporting the JustBeCos podcast.
Yeah.
Over here on the JustBeCos podcast, we talk all things cosplay. We talk about life. But who are you?
Oh, this podcast features me, Mangle Phantom. My name's also Jeremy, but Mangle Phantom. And who are you?
I'm Marmalade. But if you take the jar, if you take the marmalade out of the jar, I'm Maya. I thought of that one today.
I've heard that one before.
I heard someone saying,
dear.
like, open up the jar of your power, and I was like, when I open the jar, I'm
just
Maya.
I love that.
Oh, it's a good time. But...
Okay, now, as much as if you've tuned in before, thank you for tuning back in. We're not going to have, hopefully, as much waffle, because we're going to try and go through the entire
WCS experience
week and a bit in 60 minutes.
Yes.
So
we have
we've got a lot to cover.
8 days of really intense activities to cover. I really wanted to make this episode because I feel like when I was searching for like YouTubers or kind of even podcasters talking about WCS, there was barely anything. I could find a few vlogs, but I was really wondering, like, when we got the itinerary of events, we had a brief sort of description of what we were going to do, but honestly I was like, I want to know more. Like, what are we going into?
We went in blind.
We went in quite blind. We went in knowing it was going to be hot. We needed to bring up like a few costumes. They all had to be handmade, had a few specific rules, but other than that, I feel like we were so...
Yeah, because all we're told is when you go in and you're like, okay, cool, you're going to be doing a performance on stage in your costumes that you've prepared. What else is involved? There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah. So we're going to break it down for you bit by bit.
If you're tuning in and you have no idea what cosplay is, maybe go watch another video. We'll explain what cosplay is another one.
But Maya, what is the World Cosplay Summit? Just tell us in brief, what is the World Cosplay Summit?
So, it's a super exciting international event that has been taking place for the past 20 years. I believe that they had their 20th anniversary in 2021.
Yes. Yes.
Check.
There's a milestone, 20th anniversary.
20th anniversary. So basically it is a summit that is held in Nagoya, Japan, and it collects, this year was 33 countries send a team of 2 to compete on a national stage where they have to bring a handmade costume and a skit. And it's very, very exciting because we were Team Australia at the 2023 Summit, which was just in August, which passed, I think, 2 months ago
2 months ago now.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that was,
September,
it was like about
it is.
75 days ago or so.
You're counting?
There's a reason why. I'll explain later.
Okay.
I'll explain later. But so World Cosplay Summit has been running for quite a few years. It's a fantastic event that you can maybe look up in your country if you're not tuning in from Australia. See what cons are hosting the preliminaries, because you can enter.
You can enter, and maybe you could be the representative for your country in the coming years.
Super exciting. So Australia holds their preliminaries at Smash every year. The 2024 prelims have already happened, so the next team has already been selected. If you would like to go support them, we can link them up here.
Team Australia.
Go check out the WCS Australia Instagram page. You can see all the updates. They post lots of information whenever they're having live streams or anything like that. Information if you want to stay up to date. But World Cosplay Summit is... What else can we say about World Cosplay Summit?
Well, that's pretty much it, because as far in our knowledge...
It's huge.
There's a lot of events that happen, a lot of people that you meet, there's a lot of public events, appearances that happen.
Yep.
And a lot of it, you're not really told explicitly what's going on. It's kind of like, this is happening. Get ready to find out what you got to do. And that's literally our experience in a lot of those days. It's like, here's an itinerary. They kind of had a day, an afternoon, which they explained to us a little bit what it was.
Yeah, went through the scheduling, when we were there.
But it wasn't super, super detailed. So a lot of events we went to, and I think it was some events we actually went to, and you're like, actually go over here and do this. Do this thing now.
It was like on the go, on the move, always being ready to change up.
There was not a lot of free time in a lot of cases. So, but that was part of the experience, I suppose,
It was.
in doing that.
Yeah. Hopefully, if you're thinking of like entering, maybe you can view this as kind of like helping you manifest or like visualize at least yourself in these situations and seeing how you would approach them. Because I feel like we were in like. We didn't know what we were doing.
We didn't know what we were doing.
Like, where are we?
And just keep in mind, what we talk about is just our experience in 2023. I know in previous years...
It changes every year.
It changes, so...
And I think it was bigger this year than it has been previously.
Previously because of COVID, right? Because it did shut down a little bit.
Some days, I think I remember Kay, one of our senpais from the cosplay world.
She, world champion 2019.
I believe she said with Wiru that their WCS spanned 12 days. Is that correct?
Wow, that's
10
long.
or 12 days.
Ours was 7.
Ours was 7.
Yeah.
Ours is, well, technically...
Monday to Monday, yeah.
No, technically, the August 2nd till the 6th were official events.
Right.
So about 5-ish days.
But there was the official events.
So it changes every year.
It changes.
We're just gonna tell you our experience of what we did and getting there. So, let's send you back in time real quick.
Let's go back in time. So this last year in August, we did the preliminaries in Australia.
In July,
yes. At Smash, where we competed against other Australian teams. We were fortunate enough to win first place.
Yeah.
And so we had about a full year to prepare for our trip this year in August.
Yes. We were one of the lucky countries that gets like around a whole year to prepare for the summit. I know that there's teams that get selected like within the month before, which is crazy. So you have enough time as well to make a new costume, a new skit if you desire with your teammates. That's pretty exciting that we have that time.
We've got a lot of time in advance, like let your work know, let your family know and whatever, so you can make plans. So that's good. But jumping straight into it, because I know we've got a lot to cover. Day 0. We live in Brisbane. There's a city called Brisbane in Australia. And
there's a city called
Brisbane. And we actually had to get to Nagoya, which is another city in Japan. There's no direct route from Brisbane to Nagoya. So over 3 days of flying, we had to go Brisbane to Sydney, Sydney to Tokyo, Tokyo to Nagoya. So we took 3 flights to get there.
We did. This was super exciting too because neither Jeremy and I had ever been to Japan before, so this was our first ever time flying there. So I think the 3 days were like, ooh, just so much anticipation. We also it was broken up over 3 days, so rather than just like
three flights in the day,
3 flights, go for it. No, it was like fly to Sydney, stay in Sydney in a hotel overnight. Fly to Tokyo,
stay in Tokyo overnight.
Tokyo for a night. Fly to Nagoya, and then it was a bit of a process, but it was funny. We should probably mention as well that both of us vlogged the entire experience. We're currently in editing mode, but if you want to like really see the visuals, the chaos unfold
behind the scenes,
we'll check out our individual channels because
YouTube,
we'll be uploading
we'll chuck
them
it up soon. Yeah.
So the first few days was super exciting for me. That travel day where we were lucky to fly with JAL, which was one of the sponsors of WCS Australia, and it was a super lovely flight. Honestly, like in terms of like. Quality airfare.
Quality airfare. You had meals and movies. We got an extra seat between us.
Yeah.
So we had extra
I did.
Space.
That was so good. I was passed out on
across 2 seats.
That was so lucky. That was so good. Nice. And our first night in Tokyo was like we couldn't stay. We couldn't stay in the hotel. We were like, let's go out and explore.
Go. It was like past midnight. I was like, nah, screw it. Let's go explore.
Let's go look at the park. Like it was great. We like walked to this bridge.
We walked to some shrine.
Yeah,
we found random ice creams and it was tough to find a bin for some reason. A convenience store for the first times an experience in itself.
Fun. It was 7-Eleven, right?
7-Eleven.
The first one we went to.
Family Mart?
No, it was a 7-Eleven, I'm pretty sure.
Well, how did you feel? Just the anticipation. I was like, all right, the first time I'm forced to talk to someone in Japanese because I have no choice.
I was like, is this real? Is this real? Is this real? I don't know. I've been doing Duolingo all year to prepare, and I feel like it did not prepare me at all, and I should have practiced way more Japanese interaction upon going there.
I feel like I learned quite a solid bit just being there, though. So I think if you immerse yourself and force yourself to try and interact with people, I picked up bits and pieces.
Yeah. So, should we head into the first day?
First day. So let's say when we arrived in Nagoya, we got to meet some of the other teams arriving at a similar time. So we got to meet Team Latvia, Team Bulgaria, Egypt was there. So it's a small handful of us,
Yeah.
but it still felt like a good 20-odd people once you include all the organisers and
Oh, we
helpers
forgot
and-
to say as well, yeah, the organisers. So when we met, we went to Brisbane Airport, and that's where we met our organiser, who also is the head of WCS Australia. So every team gets an organiser to help support, like, kind of assist them through the events and everything. And our organiser was also a judge for this year's event, which is super exciting. So, and when we flew, we also met up with our Widja, who is a well-known person in the WCS community. He's been supporting all the teams going over to Japan every single year
Every
for
year,
15
I think, yeah. 15
every
years or something. It's
time.
been ages.
So we did have that support with us on the way. And so, but when we get to finally meet those other countries, it was so exciting, because I think for me it really kicked in. It was like, wow, this really feels real. This is so
Yeah.
exciting. Like, getting to meet, I think especially Bulgaria, they were so friendly. We kind of clicked straight away. And it, yeah.
Love you guys if you're
Yeah.
watching this. Just letting you know I love you. I love you.
We miss you a lot. But it was really cool to start already getting to know people in the airport even before
Yeah.
we got there. And when we flew into Nagoya, we then got off, and straight away at the airport was our Omotenashi students waiting for us.
Yeah,
So
so-
the Omotenashi.
Omotenashi, they're volunteer students from local universities, I believe,
Yeah,
around
yeah.
Nagoya, who say, oh yeah, we'd like to help out with this event. And so they're kind of chaperoning you around to lots of the events, and they help out with marshalling, and if you need to get something within Japan, you don't have no idea how to do it, so they're usually your first helper. And,
Yeah.
ours were lovely.
Ours
so-
were amazing. Amazing.
so we
Incredible. We
had-
got so lucky because both Emily and Nono
They spoke
really good
good
English.
English.
It was so lucky. Whereas some of the other teams had a big language barrier, unfortunately.
Yeah, so-
we struck out. And some had only one volunteer student, whereas we got
right.
two. It was so,
I
yeah.
think that's not someone got one, did they?
Yeah.
right.
Lots of teams only had one student, whereas we had two. Yeah.
That's very fortunate
Yeah,
for us. Yeah,
so lucky. Yeah. So they greeted us at the airport with these signs, and then
signs.
they helped us. We walked over to the airport, and there was a van waiting there for us to put all of our big luggage
Chuck
in.
your luggage in, and
So
then
you-
we
you
got
load
to
it all up.
catch the train.
Yeah, that was a fun experience for the first time.
And it's like, oh wow, the train tickets are like this little,
so cute. They were like little.
and you have to pay with coins. There's still lots of cash in
because
Japan.
we didn't have Suica cards at the
Sweet cards,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still a very. If you've never been to Japan before, Japan still uses a lot of cash
It does, it
in a
does.
lot of places.
Yeah, it does.
It's different, I suppose, because in Australia we don't use much cash these days. I think in a lot of places, it's just card only. Just
You
please.
gave me a $20 bill today.
Hey, that was your
sir.
$20 bill from last time.
We've been passing it back to in
Just
between
based
each
on
other.
who's paying for lunch.
Yeah. But and then we got the train itself was super pretty because it was kind of, was it near the ocean?
Near the ocean, I
swear
think.
it was.
I think
It was
the
just-
airport was, so we kind of get to travel by the ocean
It
during
was,
the
it was
daytime.
about an hour's train.
It was
off-
solid.
It was solid. I was
liked
like,
it.
oh, we're on the train. I wonder how long. And then I was like, oh, we're
on the
still on the train. But it literally looking out the window, I think we were sitting across with Team Latvia, getting to know them better. But just the scenery was so beautiful. It literally looked like a Studio Ghibli film.
That's nice.
But then occasionally, I remember I kept pointing out like, there would be like the occasional like completely destroyed house.
Yeah,
Do you
there's some
remember this?
houses that were just completely
Completely
abandoned or
burnt.
burnt down or
Burnt
just
down.
covered in ivy
Yeah,
or it's
yeah.
like, oh,
I remember Elvis from Latvia being like, man, Maya gets so excited every time there's a destroyed house.
it's like, wow, this is history just
Yeah.
passing me by.
It's just so much to look at. It was fantastic. And so when we got to Nagoya, we then...
I think we just basically checked into the hotel that
hotel.
every team was staying at.
Yeah. We got to go into the lobby. So the way the hotel's set up is that there's a WCS kind of common room, which is kind of nice. It becomes the like meeting place. If you need something, if you need some hot glue, you could run down. If you needed the iron,
Oh, that's a story in itself. That was our first tiff.
the iron.
Iron. The irons make and
iron.
break friendships.
Literally. Oh my gosh. But the WCS room, and they handed us, I believe, our passes on the first day, which is super lovely. That was, we
Yes.
got these passes.
Like, this is our picture.
with our little photo in there.
Look, we're valid. We're valid for
Valid
5
for
days.
August 2nd
To
to
the
6th.
6th.
There we go.
Well,
And it has all of the sponsors from this year and the cute little mascots from the World Cosplay
Pictures,
Summit.
what country you're from, your name.
Yeah. super exciting.
That's a nice little souvenir that
and
we
we
keep.
also got the fans, which I think you have yours like over there. It's over
Behind
there. I can
there.
see it. What are they called? I can't remember.
A fan.
No. There's a name. I literally made them.
You know, like those fans that you fan yourself like this, a hand fan. It's a hand fan with WCS
Anyway,
paraphernalia on it.
we got gifts. It was very lovely, and then we were told those big tops kind of set up so that if you needed to do any painting or crafting, that was the area to do it, because the hotel rooms are very tiny.
Tiny
because
rooms.
Jeremy and I stayed separately.
Across the hall from each other.
Ew, germs.
I'm like, get away, girl germs. Yuck.
We had our own little rooms, but they were literally like the size of this table. No, they were like probably the space that we have here, like for the setup. That was probably the size of the hotel room.
The size of it wasn't single. It was a double bed. A double bed.
It was a queen like single, a king single, I reckon.
Double at most.
At most.
At
I
most.
think, yeah, you might be right. You might be right.
But double, and you had like a little vanity next to it.
Yeah.
And
that was
then
great.
you had your bathroom packed in. 'Cause it's like a hotel room you'd probably go into.
Very small, very small.
It's very small, so you didn't have much
No
space
room
to
for
do
crafting.
anything. No crafting.
No gluing, no.
But I think after that, this was our first kind of hiccup. Because in our adventure, we spent the first afternoon day looking for a confetti cannon.
Cool part of our skit. If you
part of our
want to go watch it, we'll tag it up on the link.
We'll chuck it in, or
up,
chuck it in the
down.
description somewhere. But in our skit, basically, we fire off some confetti. It's part of the big part of the skit. And we found out, you can't use gunpowder in this skit whatsoever.
We knew this ahead of time because it's in the rules that you can see, like, before going to Japan.
Yep.
We knew that there was no gunpowder allowed, and we also knew that we would not be able to take the same cannon that we used in the prelim because that was an air pressurized cannon.
Can't take that on the
No
plane.
way we could have taken that on the airplane. Please do not do that.
Yep.
Please do not take that on the airplane. So we asked for some advice from, again, our senpais Kei and Wuru, and they said, okay, we got ours made by a custom place, and they went out of business during COVID. So we were literally like, we're gonna have to get there and figure it out. And like, we looked out, we had these specific costume shops planned out, so we knew exactly where we needed to go.
We searched 2-3 of them. They had cannons, all gunpowder themed.
gunpowder.
And then we went to one that was a little bit further walk in this heat. The heat. It was humid. We're talking like 90% humidity. So you're walking, and it's just like, wow, I'm dripping in sweat. Where did that come from?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Like, everywhere. We live in Brisbane, and it's never, ever been that. I think, unless those really hot, stormy days, where it's going to storm in the Arvo.
But it's cooler because it rains on you, right?
Yeah,
This
but
was no rain. This was just heat.
Just heat.
And moisture.
It's, yeah. You walk out of the air conditioning, and it's like an oven.
Swimming.
It feels like
You're swimming through
you
the
walked
heat.
into an oven.
It was
It was a lot.
It was a lot. Anyway, so we walked, and then we went to another costume store and another one. We got sidetracked by all the Pokemon merch and some
Got all
stuff for
so much exciting stuff. I bought like $100 worth of stickers,
worth it.
which is a lot.
That's for
the idol
idol
checky.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after we did that, we're like, no, walk to this shop.
Yeah.
No, but it was
No.
nice because we kind of got that chance to walk around
Nagoya.
neighborhoods and
Yeah,
just see
yeah.
what even just. Oh, look at that street! Look at that street sign!
Yeah.
Look at that shop!
There was so much.
This is interesting.
Even though our Motsunashi students, I think Emily kept saying like, oh, there's nothing to do in Nagoya. Nagoya is so boring. I'm like, it's beautiful,
It's
here.
beautiful.
Like,
We're
it's
just,
so cool.
just walking by was nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess, what was the thing that surprised you the most about Japan that was like, wow, this is culture shock?
Oh. I don't know if I can. Let's be real. The gender inequality.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something.
Let's be women. I don't know the way women are treated. I don't want to make it dark, but like,
that's
that was
something
the
you
biggest
noticed.
culture shock.
Yeah.
It was like, oh shit, this is not the same as Australia.
A little bit different. So as much as we can complain about some things, I think there's still got a lot to be grateful for in the same vein.
Absolutely. For sure.
On a lighter note, they use their space really well. They have
They
their
do.
cars parked next to the building, which is next to their front garden,
so
which is
smart.
a meter from the front door.
Yeah, every little bit of
Every little
pavement,
pavement
something
was
used.
used well.
Australia does the complete opposite. It's very, very wasteful in terms of spacing here. But so we spent the whole kind of day shopping, looking around, getting to know everything. It was really nice. But by the end of the day, I believe we'd kind of like forgotten. I'd forgotten that my cosplay needed ironing for the next day, and so the first day of iron hunt, there was
Second day.
multiple. No. because the next day.
Oh, you're the first day.
Yeah. This
Right,
is the
right.
first Iron Quest.
Okay.
Iron Quest.
Tell us about the irons, Maya.
So luckily, I think every year does this. They set up a group chat with all the other countries through Facebook Messenger. So I sent in an alert message being like, SOS, anybody got an iron at like 8 or 9, I think it was 9 p.m. at night already at that point. And luckily, Lewis from Brazil was like, oh yes, we're just finishing with ours, you can have it when we're done. I'm like, thank you, Lewis.
And
Meet
they
you
were
in the
all
lobby.
shared irons, right?
They were.
They all belonged to
so
the hotel. Yeah.
Hotel does not give you an iron in every room. No, they do not give you an ironing board in every room like they do in Australia. I don't know how many they possessed, but it was not many. I think I went up to that desk and asked for the iron like 50 times.
And they didn't have it.
They never had it. And so the way to get one was asking other teams who has it. I wish I'd brought my own. I wish like looking back, would have packed the steamer. Absolutely.
Now
like,
that we
easily
know
thrown
about it,
in.
so if you're gonna go, pack a steamer.
Pack a steamer.
It's worth it.
Yeah, so worth it. And you'll make friends, because all the other teams who didn't bring a steamer will be like, please come and use the steamer. So Louise brought it down. I ironed my Miracle Wave Euro cosplay for the next day, and I brought it back, because it slipped my mind.
That's okay.
It slipped
That's
my mind.
cool.
Well, yeah.
I'm lucky that I had a costume that didn't need ironing. So
Lelouch.
Lelouch did not need it. So that was Tuesday, okay? So the first event that we had was on Wednesday. So the very next day, we got dressed. You were Miracle Wave Yol.
Yes.
I was Lelouch. And I think, of the 33 teams, I think we split into groups of 11, 11, 12.
There were
I think it's 34. 34, because we're included, isn't that there too?
No, 33 including
so
us.
11, 11, 11.
Yeah.
And
So 3 teams.
I think one of us got to go visit the
Team A got to visit the mayor. Team B got to visit the governor. And Team C were taken to Oasis 21, and they did a bunch of like traditional kind of Japanese craftsmanship sort of things, including like hand dyeing silks and
That's cool.
full kimono, print work and stuff like that. Yeah. So
we got to split into our little groups, and I don't know, at the mayor's office we kind of just No, mayor's office. Governor.
Yeah.
Sorry, stand corrected. Went to the governor's office.
Yeah.
The governor came in cosplay.
No. Let me take you back.
You go.
Take you back. We roll up to this huge building, like insanely huge building.
Big.
6 stories. We've told you how hot it is. Air conditioning? No. Elevator? No.
Yeah, walk.
We get to walk up
those 6 flights
like
of stairs.
12 flights of stairs.
Yeah, 6 flights of 2, you're right.
Yeah. To the top. And we reached the top, and it's very lovely. So with a few other countries, with Team Germany, Team USA, Team Austria, Team Spain, Team Vietnam,
Team Brazil.
No.
Team.
Spain? Did I already say Spain?
Mexico.
Mexico
sit next to us.
Who else?
That's what I can remember.
It's alright. There's a few other countries.
There's a few other countries.
So we're sitting we walk in, and there's this huge round table. We're having like a model UN of cosplayers.
And there's this giant press.
Huge huddle.
Whole bunch of cameramen and stuff.
Yeah.
We're talking like 50.
Yeah.
I
was just like, oh, this is a real thing.
So it sits corner, and just to the
happened.
side, there's just a bunch of people taking pictures. I'm like, oh, let's sit.
Yeah.
And I had a vlogging camera, as few people did, but I'm like, should I turn this camera on?
I know.
Should I leave? Mine is so loud.
Yeah.
Look, I'll
Jeremy's
pull it out right
now.
Okay, so listen. It's
loud.
loud. It's cute, because it's like a GoPro, right? It's this small little thing here. Look at it. It's cute. It's tiny. Good picture. This is me turning it on. Listen. Here we go. And then I turn. That's on.
The off is the loud.
The off is the loud part. Here we go.
Oh, it just, when I tell you that, like, it would be like the most awkward silence, and then
So every time I tried to turn on, I was like sitting on it. I'm like, I'd rather fart at this point, because that would have been more polite than this camera turning on.
So loud, like we'd be in the bus and we'd
I'm like, someone's filming. Anyway.
Everyone knew. So we got to sit there, and then the governor walks out, and he's in cosplay. So it's a tradition that I think started. I'm not sure if it's happened every year, but they always like to dress up. So last year he did Howl from Howl's Moving Castle, and this year, because he got so much backlash from the netizens, and he talked about this in his speech, he said, oh, the netizens told me I should do someone more suitable to my age, because he's a bit of a...
He's a bit of an old dude, older guy.
Dude. This year he decided to do Inuyasha, which I thought he did a great
cute.
job.
It was good.
He really committed. It was good. It was very funny to see. We got to go around the table and introduce ourselves, and I was very nervous because I was like, I want to say some Japanese. I want to be like, hello.
You know how you go into class at
Yeah.
school and you're like, all right, introduce yourself. You're like, hi, my name's Jeremy.
I'm on Team Australia.
I'm Team Australia. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, applause.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Was it? And then he gave a nice little speech, a little opening, and then
Took some group photos.
we took some group photos with everyone. We went up.
To briefly talk to people
Briefly
from
talk
other
to
teams,
people
because
and
by this
mingle.
stage we haven't really talked to any other teams yet.
No, apart from like the ones we mentioned before, a lot of the teams are then new. To
Yes,
yeah.
and so Bulgaria and Latvia were both in
other teams,
groups,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
So the people we did know weren't with us that day.
yeah, so we had to
Yeah.
just
make
meet
new
people,
friends.
make new friends. So
Yeah, I believe I got pretty close to Germany, USA, and Austria on this day. I reckon. I would say
I got
chats
close to
everyone,
Austria
yeah.
and
A little bit of
Spain.
Vietnam as well. Canada were also
Canada.
with us. Canada, how could I
Thank
forget Anichi and Megwin? Anichi also made a WCS vlog. If you would like to go check that
it
out,
out.
we will link that as well. We'll support all the people in our WCS.
Everyone.
Here. All right, so right after the governor visits,
We got
wrapped
back on the
up,
bus.
We walked back down all of the stairs, and then we went on the bus, and they took us directly to the Brother Museum, which was super exciting
So
for
if you
me.
don't know what Brother is, Brother is like one of the companies that make sewing machines.
They don't just make sewing machines; they also make printers and washing machines and all
True,
kinds
true,
of
true. And printers,
machinery
yep,
and
yep.
printers and all that stuff.
So we got to try out a bunch of different things,
Yeah.
like old sewing machines.
Yes, we did. There was a little museum part where they showed all the old stuff, and then we got to see all the new
the
stuff.
new
as well.
stuff, like computerized stitching,
so many things.
programmable. Bruh. It was cool.
Yeah, it was good. They had you could trial an old timey sewing machine where you had to like do the pedaling thing, and like, man, did you try it?
No, I just watched you do it.
Yeah, you watched me do it. I wish I had a heart rate monitor too, because
Because I'm like, look,
trying to keep it steady. And
you are the better soul between us. It's not even arguably better. You are better.
Thank you.
So if you can't do it, I'm like, I'm not even going to try
Hey
this.
man, it's a whole different skill set. It's about rhythm. It's probably like you're.
I'm a musician. I can do this.
You're more musically skilled than I am, so I feel like you could actually do it better than I could.
Just give me
solid.
a beat.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you got to keep the beat in your head, you know.
Stitch. Yeah, I get it.
Pretty much.
Okay.
No, it was good. But the whole building is actually shaped in a sewing machine, which is kind of crazy if you view it from a bird's eye view.
Portugal, Saudi Arabia were also there too. I just remembered.
Yes, they were. Yes. Good
Now
memory.
we're
We're
remembering.
collecting
We're
people.
collecting.
Yeah. we're remembering. And then his super cute mascot, when we walked in the door, Brother, they had a really cute girl dressed up in the, I think, mascot for the Brother, and she's like Nagoya themed. Because she has the golden
Oh, yeah.
dolphins.
Yep,
so
yep.
Nagoya, I think each town in Japan kind of has, or city has like a theme, and they have a mascot. It's,
Yep.
And for Nagoya, they have the two golden dolphins, which are at the top of the Nagoya castle.
Right.
They're very iconic. So everywhere we kind of looked around, a lot of restaurants had like Nagoya fish or like dolphin special kind of things.
Yep,
so
yep,
they
yep.
would shaped. They look more like fish than they do dolphins, but all like little. Yeah, you remember?
Yep.
Yeah. So she has like two of them in her hair. Very cute. Very cute. But yeah, what else was at the Brother Museum?
Not too much. So we got a couple of souvenirs. We got like a bag.
Yeah.
With our team photo printed on the
That's
bag.
pretty
That was a
cool.
nice little gift. So I will move this along just a little bit
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'd like to talk about this forever.
I know
But
it so much.
in the evening on Wednesday, we got together for the first time with all of the teams, and we all went to a little meeting room upstairs. And
For the official opening
the
ceremony,
official
did they call it?
opening ceremony,
It was, yeah.
where we got to basically sit down and all the teams one by one kind of introduce themselves briefly to everyone else.
It was very funny, like, hearing people kind of, like, I don't know, cause a bit of a ruckus at this point. Like, we had certain countries that were definitely, like, the class clown. Like,
Yeah.
it felt like you were on, like, a school excursion.
School excursion.
It was, like, the room full of people, and it was really cool. That was the first time I think we saw everybody in the same room.
In the
We're
same
like,
room.
Whoa! There's a lot of people.
A lot of people here. So, because
Yeah.
at least two people plus the at least every team had at least one organizer.
Yeah.
So 33 teams times at least 3.
Yeah.
There were at least 100 people. That doesn't even include the Nazi students.
And the staff.
And the staff
Yeah.
of WCS. So
Yeah,
it was a
and the
pretty
team.
crowded room.
Yeah.
But
Big room, big hotel room.
that in that time they
Conference room.
told
Conference
us a little bit about the schedule. Like, this is what you can expect every day.
Yeah, they ran us through the very complicated Excel spreadsheets that we had spent the last week being like,
Trying to
"What
decode
is
what's going on.
this?"
It kind of made sense
Kind
towards
of.
the end.
Yeah.
They also went through the prizes and the sponsors. There were quite a few
Yeah, the new
generous
ones.
prizes, which were cool. And everyone got a pair of WCS engraved scissors,
For
sewing
more
scissors.
cutlery.
So that was pretty cool.
They're very sharp. I've used them ever since on the
Yeah?
my Black Cat Diva. They cut so well.
Well.
Like not even.
glad.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not even like lying at all. Like even though they were free, they are like the best pair of
Best
scissors.
scissors.
Because I own those really expensive Fiskars.
Yep.
The spotlight ones that are like $60 with the orange handle. You know
Right,
those?
right.
Yeah. I hate them. I like my I like my Femore, please.
Was that the same night that we did the Omotenashi Games
Yes,
as well? Okay,
it
so
is.
right
So
after
right
that,
after- yeah.
there's even more. So we had to go and meet the Omotenashi students properly and spend time with them.
With
and
all of them.
all of them.
Yeah.
And we all...
So they had set up another whole room, another conference room on another level of the hotel, where we walked in and it was a super special. Like they were all waiting at the door to let us in, and they had set up these different stations with traditional Japanese activities for us to do and try on. So some of them was like the bracelet making, like the super
Yep.
fancy sort of weaving. There was a kimono try on. There was like wish writing, so you could write a little wish
yeah,
on
there's
the
lots
tree.
of cool things. There's
Lots of
like small
things.
games and challenges I think they had as well.
Yeah, so I think the organizers, like the team, the CEO, I guess, of WCS, led us through introducing each set of students, so in their country, so everybody got the chance to like go up and like take a photo together.
It's nice.
And also exchange gifts. So
Oh, that
this was
was-
the big gift
That's
giving.
a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
it was
that part.
very, very chaotic. The amount of noise in that room.
Oh, it's crazy.
Like, you think conventions are noisy? Like, holy shit,
This was
that
a
was like...
small room with a lot of
That
people.
was so loud, like everyone talking.
Did you feel okay? I definitely think some people were feeling a bit overwhelmed just by how much was going on in that small space.
There was certain points where I think there was 2 or 3 points where I was like, "Oh, I wish I had my earplugs."
Yeah, right.
Because
But the gift giving was nice because it's kind of a tradition that you bring something small that you can give to other teams.
Every single team.
To just as like a small
And
exchange
yeah,
gift, and
organise
also
it,
to your Omotenashi students as
Yeah.
well. So we gave our Omotenashi students a big koala, like this big.
Jeremy had
big
the
stuffed
best
one.
idea to bring
Big
them.
stuffed
Yeah,
koala.
That was such a good call on your part.
Oh, that's doing my best.
I think we gave them the best presents out of everyone.
think so.
Not gonna lie, they looked so happy.
Yeah, they look happy
We have
with
the
it.
cutest photo. Please put it
I'll put
in
it-
here.
I'll
It's
put it
so
in here.
cute.
Check it out.
Of like us being like the heart and it's so cute. Also gave them like some Aussie sunscreen.
Yeah, I've got the sunscreen as
And
well.
What else? Some Tim Tams, I think.
We
you know,
for our
sometimes.
gift, we've mentioned it before. I got
Yes.
Keely, my partner, to draw us a little art card.
She did such a good job.
Which we got printed on these mugs because we
Yeah,
liked it so
we
much.
liked it
Check
so
out
much.
these mugs. That's
I
the
don't
one
think
that
we've
we
like
keep.
introduced these.
Oh no,
or
check out
shown them
yeah.
off.
So yeah, we got these mugs. We just printed Team Australia on one side and Props Definitely on
I
the other
love
side.
it. It's so cute.
So we gave out a card with some snacks. We ran out of snacks.
We did.
But yeah, some of the gifts some other teams gave were I feel like more than what was needed.
way out of the
Most of it was just like small lollies or
Uh-huh.
chips or snacks. Some people go full photo books.
Photo book.
Hand painted fans.
a tin of sardines.
Like, thanks, Portugal. I haven't eaten them yet. I'm keeping it for a
I'm so
special day.
excited.
I'm keeping it.
the sardines.
The sardine. No,
So
tuna,
good.
tuna.
Tuna. Is it tuna?
I've
Okay, I'm so
checked
sorry.
it. No, that's cool. It's like premium.
Premium,
I've
yeah.
seen it before. But no, it was fun. So we got to take that back with us. And
what I loved most
Mm.
is that each team, when they gave you the gift, they didn't just go like, "Here you go, thank you." They would like explain what was in it every time. And like I remember like Italy being like, "Okay, mbare, this is mbare."
This is what mbare means. You are now mbare.
He gave us a keychain that says mbare. And like had to explain like the meaning behind
Yeah.
it. I can picture them still, like those memories. I'll never forget the way that each team kind of was like, "Oh, this is this behind."
There's small
you know,
little
the
quirks
meaning.
among each team.
Yeah.
And it was nice too because even obviously I do remember most of the names, but if you don't, it's like, oh, Canada, or oh, hey, Australia, what's going on? You just call them by the country name, and it's it was kind of fun.
It was, I think, in that moment where I realized just how friendly everyone was, and I think I was a bit worried that it would be a bit more competitive, like or some teams maybe wouldn't want to be as friendly, and like that wasn't the case at all. Everybody
Every
was
single
so
team
willing
was so willing to just hang out
get
and
to know each
get
other.
to know each other. It was really
It
good.
was fantastic. You instantly felt like you'd been around these people for
for ages. Like you've just known them.
Yeah.
I think one of the big kind of things that I think I was worried about. This is the first time I've been into a competition on a really big scale.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of things domestically, obviously, but anyone who has been, if you've been into a competition before, even if it's a small and a big one, you know, there's going to be some people who you're competing with who are great to talk to. They love to talk. Some people, maybe they're shackled up with nerves. Maybe they're focused on the competition and they're not so social. But everyone is here, but nobody felt like they were unapproachable. No one felt like you couldn't talk to them. No one felt like they weren't happy to help in any such way. So that's one of the big things I got. I'm so glad I got to experience that because I don't think I've really seen that en masse in such a big place before. So
No.
that was sick.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
Now, was that the same night? Because it was Wednesday night after we've gone to see the mayor, governor, went to the Brother Museum,
Yeah.
went to the meeting upstairs, we
Yeah.
got a whole goodie bag,
Yeah.
went to the Omotenashi party.
Yeah.
Was that the night that we also had a tiff over the iron because I didn't find it?
It is.
It is. So,
It is. But I just want to say, in that official opening ceremony event where they went through the schedule, the gift pack that we got these shirts, and I had theorized, let me yell about this for a second!
go.
You would think! You would think! Last year, the shirts were pastel purple, very pretty. I'm sorry, I'm yelling. You would think this year that they would be red because the theming is a phoenix.
Rise of the Phoenix.
It's a phoenix.
WCS rising
Look at the
from the
logo,
ashes.
phoenix. So I'm like, it's gonna be orange, it's gonna be red, it's gonna be yellow.
If you're listening on this, they're fluoro green. Like Kermit the Frog green, like Mike Wazowski from Monsters Inc. green.
Which is fine. It's fine. Just we got the bag and it's hidden in the bag and we took the peek into the bag and I was like, oh my god, it's not orange.
It's green. It's Shrek green. It's
I didn't bring any outfits to go with this.
yeah, but we did get these sick jumpers from
We
Kay,
did.
from the company she works for, which are like Catboy
Ta-da!
jumpers. Look and check it out. It's cat ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And they are also fluoro green, so it's the one thing that matches.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Kay Senpai,
Thank you for
giving us these
saving
hoodies.
us.
They are from actually her original, the company she works for, 555 Comics, and this is a character called CRC Luna. So if you want to interact, I think she makes interactive.
Her TikToks are so funny.
Yeah,
Go
so
check it out.
It's like an interactive VTuber that kind of story that plays out over TikTok and that you can engage with. So it's like she's solving mysteries and you can help her solve the clues. It's very cool. If you want to check it out, we're not sponsored. We just love Kay.
We just love Kay.
And she gave us these cool hoodies.
It's cool.
And they're so cool.
They got little stars here.
They do.
Makes
And
me
they're
feel like a
they're
real,
a nice
real
fabric.
anime character.
It's very well patterned.
It's nice.
And it does go with the green.
The green.
I'm so sorry for yelling. I hope that didn't peak.
No, it's good.
I tried to yell that way.
So good. I'll fix this up in post.
Very passionate about colours.
Color choices.
It took me a while to set up the lights today. Anyway.
Oh, look, if you're watching this, check out our new setup. You might notice that the flavour of the picture
Flavour?
is different.
The flavour.
The flavour.
I like that.
The camera colour's slightly different. The border's
different.
slightly different. Nothing is blurred in the background because we're using Maya's camera that she took to Japan. Actually, the first TIFF that we ever had as cosplay partners was just before we flew out to Japan.
2 days before.
2 days before.
Because Jeremy hadn't started packing anything.
We work differently, and that was what we argued over. But we kind of came to a resolution and said, let's do some retail therapy and buy new cameras.
We were like, I'm just really sad, and I think the only thing that would make it better is if we
A new
both
camera.
bought a new camera.
And we did. We both dropped the good.
We were like, let's go to JB Hi-Fi right now.
And we did. And we bought
did.
new cameras there
New
and then.
cameras.
But yeah,
Very
so
true.
this camera we're using because it's got a much simpler setup than mine.
Yes.
And it's great.
If you'd like to know, we'll link it in the description if you're interested in
Again,
content creation.
not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
We're not getting any money for this. We
No.
just like good products and we
It
want
is
to tell the world
a
about it.
Sony ZV-1F. It's like a very much content creator camera, but very easy to use. Highly recommend. But let's get back on track, shall we?
We'll do our best to
Because-
crunch as much as we can into
Yes.
this. So Wednesday night we had a
Wednesday
tiff
night.
because
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 Well-
there was an iron shortage again.
I felt awful because I think we not wasted, but we spent all the time ahead of events worrying about the cannon that we then completely forgot. Like, oh my god,
There's other things to worry about.
our finals costumes, our literal championship costumes,
Not ironed.
are made of, like, Lewis is, like, I want to say the overall look of him, 90% fabric.
You know what?
90%.
This tablecloth is the
Don't
fabric.
say it, don't reveal!
Is the fabric of Lewis.
It's his cape.
We managed to repurpose it as a
When
new
we
tablecloth.
say he didn't make it back from Japan,
He came. All we could find were pieces. We'll tell you about that later.
So we didn't. I think it was like midnight at this point, and I was like, oh my
all of
God.
the irons were gone. So
They
we
were
were
gone.
just like, what the heck are we going to do? We need this for judging tomorrow.
Yeah.
So thankfully, we found an iron in the common room, which was, this iron stays here. You're not allowed to move
Yeah.
it. And no one was using it, so I was like, bless. Shout out to Team Austria and shout out to Team Italy for being rad bros and keeping me company ironing.
And Belgium too, wasn't it? Or Korea?
Belgium as well.
Korea?
Bless
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And bless you to Portugal for being patient and waiting for me to iron this over the period of an hour.
I was gonna say, weren't you up till 3 a.m.?
I was 1:30, 2 o'clock,
Yeah.
and they all stayed up with me.
Yeah,
Troopers!
I was in bed.
They had no reason to stay up, and Maya's like, "No, I'm feeling sick. I need to go to bed." I'm like,
I was not feeling right. Yeah,
"That's cool.
yeah,
You do you." And
yeah.
and so that bless all of you guys, because that made the ironing so much more tolerable. But Austria and Italy both looked at me as like, "Jeremy, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm ironing," and they're like, "Go away. Let me do this." And they just took over, and I'm like, "Yes,
Right.
okay."
This is what we mean. Everyone was so nice.
so nice. They're just willing to help.
We had so
For
many
no reason.
problems, and everybody helped us,
Oh
and
my
I feel like we
God.
didn't help everyone back, and I feel really bad.
We're coming for you.
We
You're not
owe-
escaping our kindness
We
of
owe
repeating.
so many
Oh my God.
people favors.
We only get South Africa
Yes,
trip. Well,
this
we're
is what I
getting to
mean.
that. We're
This-
getting
yeah,
to that.
uh-huh.
Okay, so that was Wednesday. We went to bed at I went to bed at 2, 3
Yeah,
o'clock in the morning.
yeah.
Next day, Thursday, first day of judging. So
Yes.
just a bit of a recap because there were so many teams, you can't do judging for all 33 teams in one day.
Impossible.
So they split half the teams do judging on Thursday, half the teams do judging on Friday. The other half teams will do stage rehearsals.
Yeah.
So and then we
So we
swapped
swap.
on the next day. So the first day, Thursday, we had our costume judging. Which comprised of, us getting loaded into the bus with our costumes and our props, and then people had time to set up, and everyone had like a time slot for judging. So we were...
We were later in the day
Later in
because
the day.
I remember getting into makeup at the venue. And so, yeah, we were sitting on the bus with all our stuff. We had to, like, bring the carefully ironed cape onto the bus and make sure, like, this is a full bus.
Yeah,
this
full
is not
bus.
an empty bus. So we had to, like, hang it in the, like, luggage compartment as flat as we could so it wouldn't get folded again because it would look awful if it was folded again and we didn't have an iron at the... It was, yeah,
Yep.
a little bit stressful.
Yep.
But this was the first time that we got to see the art center in Aichi. Like,
Oh
Nagoya.
my god!
Beautiful venue.
Oh my god!
It was literally like, this is a dream come true. This is so cool.
Imagine where you go and watch opera or ballet
Or Frozen
or
live.
or Frozen live, like musicals in
Yeah.
your town or
Yeah.
theatre. That's the kind of venue that we were performing
It
at.
was beautiful. It reminded me, if you're from Brisbane, it's so much of
Like
a
QPAC.
QPAC. Yeah. So
Oh my God.
We
So-
walk in, it's the back dock, and then our Omotenashi students are waiting for us there again. Very excited to see them again. And we walk in, and then there's this huge backstage area where the floor had been divided into like cubicles. It felt a bit like a Mr. Beast video because
You are not allowed to step outside of this 5x5 meter square. If you do, you're out of the
You
game.
lose the challenge.
Last one
Exactly.
standing wins $1 million kind of
Exactly,
thing.
exactly. So every team had a little cube area on the floor where they could build all their background props. So
I think this was the first time I was like, okay, if you're feeling competitive, which everyone was a little bit to some
that
degree,
point, yeah.
this is where you're like, let's suss out the other teams and see what
Yeah,
they're doing. And
yeah.
some teams, holy smokes.
yeah, I was like, oh.
Because our costumes were not background heavy whatsoever.
No, ask it, yeah.
So
yeah.
we were just kind of like, okay, we know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But in terms of like what we had, Thailand had another huge monster.
Fantastic.
And I was a huge monster. It was
Yeah.
like, hey, let's be monster Monster
That
Bros.
was so exciting.
It was fun.
That was lovely, yeah.
But if
No,
you
but
want,
some of the backdrops, I was like, you can do that? I was like, I didn't even think of that.
That's
like, how's
such
that
a good
possible?
idea.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
It was
great.
the Korea had a trampoline. I was like, what are they doing with it? That's so cool. I didn't know that was allowed. Like, that's cool. What?
Pretty much.
And then Spain had these cutouts.
of themselves.
I was like, I don't know what your skin is, but I can't wait to see. Like, what? What?
They were
That's
doing,
so
they were doing
cool.
Naruto.
Yeah.
And you know how Naruto has
Clones.
clones to help
Yeah,
him make the
shadow
Rasengan?
clones. Yeah.
They print out pictures
So cool.
of themselves.
Like cardboard cutouts.
Oh.
Like, oh, that's so cool. So cool. I think, yeah, in that moment, I was like, damn, I'm inspired. Like, this is what cosplay is all about, man.
nice.
This is the summit. This is the, some of the most talented people in the world doing what they love.
And then you go kind of downstairs backstage a bit. There's like green rooms where people
Yeah.
have space to get ready and put your makeup on. They've got like a meal room. And there was also, we had to do a small advertisement for the World Curry Summit.
We did. We got pulled
We
aside.
pulled aside. It's like, hey, can you like...
I mean, no. I was mid doing my makeup, so I had like half of my Emma makeup, no wig, natural hair. I'm like, yep. I had my shirt on, so I look like a Weasley at this point. I do. I have the photos because Brian at this point was one of the Australian support people came along and as the behind the scenes photographer, and he took some photos of that happening. So we were handed a curry and we were like, taste it, eat it, review it. We didn't
No,
have to
that was
taste it yet.
later.
We didn't have to taste it yet.
We just had a bowl of curry and a
take a
poster
photo.
saying, hey, World Curry Summit happening at the same time as World Cosplay Summit. We'll tell you more about that in a second.
Foreshadowing.
There's a funny story.
Foreshadowing.
Anyway, so that was... so after that, we went to get ready for judging
Yeah.
and put myself in my costume and...
Yeah, but at this point, so like we said before, our organizer was also a judge. So we didn't have our organizer with us. We had Widger with us, but our organizer was judging, doing the teams that were doing the judging. That was the first day of judging, so we didn't have... we had one less helper, basically, than what we thought we would. And this is where kind of the second big challenge... I would say the iron was the first big challenge.
Yep.
That was like, oof. This is the second big challenge. We're walking through the venue. We also didn't mention how beautiful the stage was. We walked down onto the stage and looking at all of the galleries and the seating. It was just beautiful. It was like, oh my god, is this real? Like, amazing. But we're walking through the backstage and we're like, oh, the roof, the ceiling is very low. We have a problem. Like, immediately straight up, we go straight to an organizer and we're like, we're gonna have a problem getting Jeremy into Lewis, because Lewis, if you don't know, is about a
He's tall.
2.5, 3
3
meters
meters
high
tall, yeah.
costume. Jeremy wears stilts, he wears a backpack, he wears a head, like
There he is.
long arms.
He's over there, if you can see him in the back.
Remnants of his body. But basically the ceilings were so low that there was no way he could either wear the stilts or even just the back without damaging some part of the costume.
Yeah.
So we talked to the organizers and they're like, oh, no problem at all. The judging room is really tall. The ceilings are really high.
Spacious.
And we're like, okay.
Easy.
If she said it's fine, it'll be fine. It wasn't fine. It wasn't fine because the judging room was downstairs in B1. We were on ground floor. We had to go in an elevator that was the smallest elevator you've ever seen to get down to that level. And immediately we're like theorizing. We're like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And it gets up until the point of being like, 10 minutes before our judging slot. And we're having a problem. We're having problems. So we are freaking out in the hallway, and I think at this moment, one of Team South Africa notices us freaking out.
And they're like, yo, what's going on?
So,
Do you need a
Baka
hand?
Sakura cosplay.
Bless
thank
you.
so much.
Bless you.
Saved the day. I think at this point I was calm up until then, and then I started to freak out because we talked to some of the organizers and they were saying, look, you're going to have to just go into the judging room and get him dressed in there, and it's going to cut into your judging time. At which point we're like, that's not...
No, that's not fair.
Like, we can't do that. It's going to take him... We only have a 10-minute judging time slot. It's going to take him 10 minutes to get
into the
get
damn
him
thing.
into it. So we're like freaking out. Like, we don't know what to do. There's like Widger, Baka Sakura, I think Diana from one of the team at USA organizers also trying to help us as well. It was like none of us knew what to do. And we kind of got to the point where the decision was made. We were allowed to get him into the judging room, get you in, sit you on a chair. We had 5 minutes to get him dressed as best as we could, and there are steps. There's a whole process.
There's a process.
It's like, has to put the trousers on first, the fabric, your pants on first, then each stilt, and then the backpack.
And the backpack.
And then feed the sleeves through. And then attach
Strap
the
my
arms.
fingers.
Process.
There's a process
Whole
to
ass
it.
process. So we had 5 minutes to get as much done as we could. At this point, Bakasaka is doing one leg, I'm doing the other leg, Widger is holding the other thing, ready to go. 5 minutes are up. The judges turn around, so the panel of judges, and I had to just walk over and start doing our pre-judging
So
for
as
us.
soon as the judging starts, Maya's like, okay, I'm not ready yet. I'm still not dressed. And Maya's like, all right. So she walks over and starts doing that. Meanwhile, Bakasakura, again, bless you, is like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, no, we got this. So I was kind of shouting to a muffled voice, like, put my arm through that hole. and we got it done.
We did.
We got it done.
We did. So I think I tried to explain, because I was so frazzled. Here we go.
Let's go.
Because I was so frazzled from that whole process, and I've been in high pressure situations before. I've done a lot of idol stuff. I've done things where I'm on stage, public speaking, but this was like a whole nother energy. This was like, oh my god, we've just worried about all this ironing stuff. We've got him into the venue, and now we've got all this, and I feel really bad. So I started explaining my strat in pre-judging is always go top to bottom, so I don't forget anything. Because if I go from this to this to this to this to that, I'm gonna forget something.
Yep.
The strat is top to bottom. First thing I talk about is the wig. So if you don't know, my Emma cosplay, the wig, it looks like Chicken Little. It's got like these 2 big spikes. These 2 big spikes! In Japanese, or the word that we use is ahoge. Or ahoge. Instead of ahoge, I fumble so hard, and I'm like, so my ahegao!
So if you don't know what a hegao is, you've watched hentai. I know you have. Don't lie to me. You know the part where they're having fun?
Stop it!
And the eyes roll in the back of their head and their tongue comes out? That's a hegao. That's what Maya...
I don't think you need to give an explanation for what ahegao is.
That's what Maya said to the judges.
I literally say ahegao, and I freeze, and I'm like, oh, did I just say that? You know when you dream about things and you have nightmares, you're like, if I was in the pre-judging and if I said that and I was like, this is a dream, this is a dream, this is a dream, and all of the judges start laughing. Thank God. The judging panel is a team of international organizers, like very experienced cosplayers.
Responsible adults.
So they laugh it off, they chuckle it off, and I just try and wipe it from my memory as fast as possible, as absolutely fast as possible. Continue to try and talk about everything else and not rush, but also try and fill as much words on top of what I've already said.
Try to bury it into the ground.
Trying to dig myself
Bury your
out
embarrassment.
Of the hole. It was awful. And then I think you come over and we talk more. We tell them about pelvis and oh my god.
It felt more rushed than it should have been because by the time I walk over, I talked for 4 or 5 minutes.
Not even. No, it was
and
like
after
2
that,
minutes. Yeah.
I just get out of the costume and I'm like,
No. Because okay, they
oh
come
no,
up.
there's more.
They come up off the.
That's right.
We do our
After
presentation.
judging,
And then they come up and they do some like looking.
they flip the seams. They check that everything is as it should
they
be.
ask a few questions and then that's it. And then they all had to leave the room for you to get out of costume. But then they're like, oh no, we need the official photos. You need to stay in costume. I'm like, he can't leave the room without taking it off. Like, for some reason, they knew that our costumes were like this, and Thailand would have had the exact same problem.
Same problem.
So I don't know why we had to kind of there's a lot of obstacles. It's fine.
So,
we made friends because of this.
See, there's a blessing in disguise, a silver lining to the trauma.
But I ended up having to do the official photos by myself, and you're not in them.
Actually, there was some that we did
you
in the
go
gym
in-
hall. Remember in the gym hall we did together? Or you weren't there together?
Gym hall.
Oh, you know where we did the judging?
Oh, yeah, we have. Okay, yeah.
There's a few photos.
We
I haven't
took a
actually
few
seen those
there.
photos,
No, we
but-
haven't seen those. But I was the only one who went into the white, like, clean studio space. and
Clean
did-
studio space. They're like, only normal-sized people can fit in here. No monsters
very
allowed.
ableist, very
Oh, God.
not very body
No,
positive.
not at all. It's like tall people get out.
No, we're just joking.
It's fine.
WCS is all of those things.
Very polite, very,
accepting.
very accepting. Lovely.
It was just a bit of a fiasco, I would say.
Anyway,
I would say.
But after that, we threw the costumes off gently because we started to wear them for the competition.
Yes. And at this point is where we actually, my little sister and Bethla and her partner were in Nagoya. So they had flown from Australia, from Brisbane, to come and support us and hang out and enjoy the summit with us together. So it was very exciting that on the 3rd of August we got to go out into Oasis 21 and we caught up with them. It was so exciting.
It's pretty cool.
It was nice,
we got to
right?
go out afterwards because outside of your judging time, you could do whatever the heck you wanted. So we did get that chance to check it out, what was nearby. We checked out Oasis 21. We've mentioned it a few times. Oasis 21's like this nearby outdoor shopping hub. So it's outdoors, but it's still covered, but it's outdoors.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain it. It's kind of underground a little bit. So it's
It's
modern,
a very nice
it's
shopping
nice.
mall, yeah, and it's where the red carpet and finale events held. So it's right in walking distance from the art center.
Was
It's connected.
Was Thursday night the red carpet? Was that Friday?
So I don't know the days. I don't know the dates. I don't know what day. Week of the
Okay,
week,
because
you
there was
know.
Thursday, there was Friday. So what did we do Thursday night otherwise?
So prejudging them, we met up with Beth and Pip.
Yep.
We went out for dinner. We had Emily and Dono, and we got food with everyone.
Oh, then we did
And then
Purikura.
We did Purikura.
Yep.
And I think we did something that night.
Did we? Oh, we did the barbecue, not the the barbecue with.
You sure it was at the Izakaya night?
Izakaya night.
The Izakaya?
night.
We went
So
to our first ever Izakaya.
first Izakaya,
together.
had a few drinks, had a bit of
With,
barbecue.
with Italy as well.
Italy, Austria, Belgium.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
This is kind of
Yeah.
smallish one, so
Yeah.
that was nice.
And we walk in, the menu is on the walls, and it's all in like
Handwritten Japanese, so Google Translate
calligraphy.
ain't gonna help us here.
No. So luckily, I think Koyo knew perfect Japanese, fluent, and the Omotenashi students, so they just did that beautiful thing where they ordered for us, and we just
Like,
drank. and
take
it
our
was
money.
amazing.
We're just gonna eat and
pretty
drink.
much. And it was fantastic. It was
That's
lovely.
nice.
We had the whole restaurant to ourselves.
Yeah.
It was this beautiful traditional old like style.
We had the whole
izakaya.
upstairs to
Yeah, we
ourselves.
did.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous.
was
I want
nice.
to go back. I want to go back. Take
That
me
was
back.
one of my favourite meals
Yeah,
of the trip, I
me
think.
too.
It was just a lot of fun.
Me too.
Tasty.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That was pretty much it for Thursday,
It
wasn't it?
was. I think we stayed out till like 1 a.m. Way later than
Later
we
we should have. Actually,
Made our way
whenever
back to
the
the
restaurant
hotel.
was closing.
Yeah.
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 And then we kind of went
Yeah.
back. But
Yeah.
I think that was easier because on Friday, I feel like the skit performance. So Friday, we go back to the same centre and we do our stage rehearsal this time.
But this time, instead of jumping on the bus, so each day there was kind of like the bus trip. This day, Jeremy and I decided we had a later call time, so we would take the opportunity to make our own way to the arts center.
Yeah.
And we went to Starbucks together.
Starbucks.
It was fun. It was a nice little break from the hotel buffet food. Because at first, the buffet food, it was great. It was great. The first day, I forgot to mention, Jeremy tried natto with Tony from
Blech.
Bulgaria.
No thanks. Not doing it again.
Check it out in my vlog if you
Oh,
want to see
it's
it.
weird.
But the buffet food, after a while, I think my stomach just wasn't agreeing with it. It was
lot
just too different.
There's a lot of Japanese food which is very
very fermented,
fermented,
right?
like
Yeah.
a lot of pickled vegetables. So
Yep.
not so much fresh fruit and
yeah.
veg.
Which we're so used to.
We're so used to in Australia.
We're so
So
lucky. Yeah.
I think, I know for you, you said your stomach was playing up a little
Yeah,
bit over
it
that
was,
trip.
it
So
was.
we went breakfast once, then went to Starbucks the next day, and
Yeah.
it's weird. Just not memorizing, but remembering these events
Yeah.
also makes me remember. Oh God, I remember at Starbucks, I was feeling like this. I
Yeah,
wasn't feeling.
yeah, yeah.
I wasn't feeling like upset.
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling particularly nervous, but I just wasn't feeling
Yourself?
myself.
Right.
It could have been a combination of nerves, the heat,
Yeah.
diet. It could have just been a combination of different things. But
No, I definitely felt that too. I think
Yeah.
throughout the night, every night when we got home that late, I was like, man, I'm just like
feeling
a
out of it.
shell of myself.
Yeah.
Like, because you give so much. I think both of us are quite extroverted, and like I really enjoyed getting to talk to people, getting to meet people. That was like the most exciting and treasured thing for me. But I put so much energy into that.
put your all into it.
And then the next thing was the cosplay. That took all the rest of the energy. So at the end of the day, there was
You still have to get into
nothing
costume
left
and
for-
put a smile on your
yeah.
face. And not that I don't enjoy it, but You're just bugging on top of the...
Yeah, we were bugged.
Just on top
absolutely.
of the inherent stress, I think, that was from it.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed it. We had a Starbucks, and then we took the train ourselves into the arts centre.
Into the arts centre.
And it was this moment of like, we're going out on our own.
We're going on our stage.
Yeah.
This is the first time we can kind of go out just by ourselves, just the two of us, where we got to, like, let's go on this train at our time, eat what we want, and make it... Because a lot of the time it was, okay, get on this bus, we're going here. Get on this bus, we're going here.
Yeah, very much like, do this, then that, then do this.
So it was very much,
bit of a moment of freedom.
A moment of freedom. I think I'm glad we did that.
Me too.
Glad we did that. So yeah, on that one, we went to the art centre. We did our rehearsal in half the costume.
So this is August 4th?
August 4th, the Friday?
Yeah. It was super cool because we got 3 or 4 goes of doing the skit. And we didn't give the lighting team any kind of prompts for what we wanted for the lighting, and so we were kind of surprised. It was the first time seeing what they'd come up with. It was really cool.
It was sick. Yeah, it was great.
I like the sort of horror, intense, creepy dark.
Creepy dark. They used lots of red lights.
They did, red and blue,
which was really cool.
Yeah. Spotlight even. I got a spotlight at the start. We rehearsed the skit a few times. I bruised my knees really badly.
You had to do barrel roll several times in a hard stage.
And I should have worn
the knee pads
earlier. That was a foolish decision. I think I just got so swept away in the excitement of everything.
Yeah.
But pretty much after the rehearsals, I think, like we said, you weren't feeling right, I wasn't feeling right, and then it all just kind of hit me really intensely. I don't know where you were at the time. I think you were just chatting, socializing.
Yeah.
I was in our rehearsal room. Our backstage, what was it called? Dressing room.
Green room.
Our green room.
Yep.
And our green room was quite noisy. Like, everyone in there was quite excitable. There was quite a lot of conversation going on. And I think I just got so overwhelmed. I'd forgotten to bring my headphones.
Yeah.
And I think I got heat stroke from all the physical exertion, lack of sleep.
Because we're also going from outside hot to inside cold, and outside
Constantly.
hot to inside cold constantly.
Yeah.
So it was playing with your body quite a bit.
It was, and I sort of felt this need to sit on the floor. I lost all of my balance, kind of thing. All of a sudden, I was like, I have a history of fainting.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, because I was iron deficient for a really long time,
Right.
so I have passed out quite a few times. Like, yeah, I told you this on the trip. I was like, by the way,
I'm prone to fainting. I'm like, crap.
Yeah. So no, I felt the need to sit down on the floor. I went down onto the floor, and then I felt like my entire body, like I was in this t-shirt, just a t-shirt and shorts, wearing barely. I'd taken off my long pants. I think I took off my socks even. I was like trying to get all of as little, like, clothing.
Just to stay cool.
Just to try and stay cool, because I felt this awful heat just all over, prickling all over my body, and like just sweat. I just erupted in this sweat, and I was like, this is bad. Like, this is bad. I start crying. And like Canada's like, are you okay, Maya? And they run and they get the nurse, and at this point they run off and they bring me back these ice packs, and they're like, all right, armpits up, and they're like ice packs under each arm, and I still wasn't feeling good, and so they took me away into like the first aid room, into the organized room, which was much quieter. There was a sofa to lie on. I like lie down, and they like cover me with more ice packs.
Just bury
like
her in ice. Yeah.
And I still, even though I had, like, you know what it feels like when you have an ice pack, it kind of hurts after a while. It didn't hurt at all. I was like, I could barely
You were melting that ice.
Yeah, I could barely feel that it was cold. And like, I think I might have had a headache too at the time. Like, I was...
And you were like,
so
Jeremy, where the hell were you?
No. You found me pretty quickly, I would say.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah. You can't... well, that time... You know when time passes a bit
right,
differently?
because I found you in the room.
Yeah.
I was probably off talking to somebody or doing vlog stuff or whatever. But, you know how... Because we were spending a lot of time with each other. It was like, okay, let's find time to, give each other some space.
Yeah.
So I think that's
we
just
didn't
one of
have
those...
to do everything together.
That's one of those times in which I think we were just... Let's just do our own thing for a bit. Because I could kind of see over time you just had this look about you that was like, look, I don't really feel like I want to talk right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, that's fine, I'll just give you some space. So, but yeah, I think when I found you were
my body
on the couch,
was shutting down, honestly.
it was just a lot. It was going through so much
physical, and I would like to think that I keep in order to do a lot of the idle activities that I do, I have to be in a relatively good state of health condition. Like, like I would regard myself as a fit person, and you know, we have the heat in Australia. Mind you, we were coming from winter into summer as well, so from Australian winter to then summer, so there might have been a bit of shock there. We didn't have any jet lag like a lot of the other countries.
Yeah,
had, like,
I think we're quite
severe jet
fortunate.
lag.
We're only like an hour or two difference between.
Literally, so there's no excuse.
There's
for
no
that.
excuse for jet lag.
I honestly can't explain why I think it was we just pushed ourselves way too hard on all those nights.
There was a lot of
staying up.
emotions running high on many different levels
Yeah,
for
yeah.
many different reasons. So it was the combination
So much
of
adrenaline.
all at once.
All at once.
Thankfully, my started to feel better a bit later.
Yeah, I had a bit of a cry. We met some lovely
Lovely organisers,
that
very accommodating.
were very helpful to get me, you know, back up and running
Yeah.
again. And you calmed me down a lot. So thanks for that.
I'm glad.
Yeah, it was a sweet moment.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could help.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Maya thankfully felt better a little bit later.
Yeah. Despite your energetic, like bright happiness, you also have this very like calm, like it's gonna be okay.
Believe it or not,
Slow, gentle.
I don't
like,
always yell into the microphone. I have a soft side too.
different side of you, Jeremy.
Well, you got to experience different sides of me
Very
once in a
sweet.
while.
It was very sweet.
I'm glad that's it could help.
Yes.
I'm glad I could help.
It did.
But later that night, after thankfully we'd finished our rehearsals by the stage, I believe, because that night was the next event
That was
public event.
straight into the next one.
Straight into the next
no
one.
Rest.
We didn't even get to go back to the hotel. It's
No,
like, bring your
no.
costumes, because next door was Oasis 21. We went into the red carpet event, which is
Yes.
like the opening ceremony,
The official big public
opening ceremony of the World Cosplay
Yeah.
Summit. So we crossed from there once everyone was ready, marshaled up, get into our costumes, take photos, and we go outside the front doors and walk across about 100 meters just to Oasis 21. Where we found out it's a full-blown bloody cosplay event.
It's huge.
There's cosplayers everywhere. Photographers everywhere.
Yeah.
And we're like, what?
Yeah.
So it was cool. And I was like, wow, no, the summit means, oh, we want you to cosplay too. As they say, cosplay everywhere. That was the thing.
The slogan, the motto.
Cosplay everywhere.
But it was super sweet. All the Omotenashi students had a little sign that had your country on it, and they all got to march with us. So they all held their little stands.
Little stands.
So Jeremy and I, we cosplayed as Ruby and Aqua from Oshinoko, and you bought a light stick for
I
it.
bought a light stick.
You bought a light
I
stick
bought a
for it. You
whole bloody
committed.
light stick
It was
ready.
lovely. Committed.
And we got your light stick working
Yeah,
about
I
5 minutes before the bloody event.
Bro, my
Thank
brain
God.
was not functioning. I was like, I brought my pen light. I knew it had batteries in it. I couldn't turn it on. I was freaking out. The chair is not working.
And like Maya, the batteries are upside down. Oh my God.
I was like, no, I swear they're the right way. Like, I don't know. I was not thinking straight.
Oh,
I was
look,
not thinking straight.
You had just recovered from a heat stroke
Yeah,
and,
it was-
and tough
Delulu.
times,
I was
Delulu.
But that night it was cool. I ran around. I remember before the event started, I ran around and tried to take as many Polaroid pictures of
was cute.
everyone as I could. So
Met a few, I think there was another Australian we met there just randomly in cosplay.
was it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Not Pip.
Mate, no. There's a girl I met there who says, like,
Okay.
oh, I'm from Australia. I'm not sure if they're from Australia. Maybe they're from
cool.
America, but...
Yeah.
Anyway, so met people there, and I didn't take any footage. I didn't want to hold my camera going down this red
Yeah.
carpet, so there's footage somewhere. But so that was an interesting event because we line up at this top of these stairs, and as we go down these big flight of stairs, which is literally red carpet, and at the bottom there's a swarm of people with big cameras, and the public on either side, and you weave in and out, and you're just kind of smiling and waving and posing for photos every 20 meters.
And there's this huge, beautiful orchestra by one of the universities in Nagoya that is playing like anime orchestral music. So they literally played the Idol, like Oshinoko Idol, in like
As we were walking down, it was so cool.
Yeah.
And the whole set time it was kind of live streamed to
YouTube,
and,
Twitch, yeah.
Nico Doja. And the most wholesome thing was after we actually got access to our phones later, the number of people who were watching us and taking photos and
back
tagging
home,
us. I fucking cried, man.
I know. I was like,
Oh,
huh? I was like, this person cares? What?
it was so nice because there were people, who was just kind of watching at home and taking photos. It was really heartwarming. So if you were watching, honestly, thank you so much because
Yeah.
you made a very stressful time a lot lighter and easier for us. So.
It meant the world to me to be able to visualize people back home like being like have our backs, like supporting us, like, rooting for us to do well and have fun and being happy for us.
Yeah.
Really positivity. Like, honestly, it was radiating positivity. It was also the first night we got to catch up with Kay in real life.
Oh my god!
And we kind of saw her. The first time we saw her was like on the red carpet.
I was like, Kay, yes!
Which was great. And they had a few of the like special guest judges there too, which is exciting.
Yeah.
So they'd, all the fancy people had arrived. You know, it was really like the start of everything. The red
cool.
carpet. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you like our cosplays that we picked?
I'm very glad. I feel like it was very well received.
You reckon? Yeah.
I mean, it was fun to wear. Hot, like we were sweating buckets in the thing. But I think everybody who is a fan of the show, I think we pretty much cosplayed. I think at the time it was really starting to go off.
Yeah.
So,
I would say so.
I think it was very well received, and it was a lot of fun just kind of being an idol, I suppose, for that time.
Yeah,
never done that before.
You had to test being an idol. Yeah, you liked it.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I didn't have to learn any dances or anything, so I didn't have to do any of the hard stuff. I did get to bask in the glory of like, yes, I'm an idol. I'll hold my light stick and wave to people. It was fun.
It was fun. It was good. Yeah.
But that was so. After that, the event was over. It was like, all right, opening ceremony. Get ready for events over the next few days. After that, we piled back into a bus.
Back into the bus.
Back into the bus, and back home we go.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if I had food. Oh no, did we go out with Canada and USA that night?
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
we did. Yeah,
we did.
We went out with Canada, France.
Canada, France, and USA.
Are you sure USA? No.
Just Canada and France.
Yeah.
We went out with Canada and France,
Canada and France.
to eat some barbecue.
Yeah, but it was like we got back at like what? We got back at 11, 10?
Midnight almost.
No, like back from the red carpet
Oh, we got
event.
from the red carpet and it was about 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. And we're like, yeah, let's go out for dinner. Even though it's late, let's go out for dinner. We walked like 40 minutes.
Oh, it wasn't that long.
It was so
It was
far.
long. It was long.
It was like at least 30 minutes. It was so far.
Maybe 30, but it was
really,
long.
It was really
But it was
far.
this highly recommended. It was delicious.
It was the only place that was open.
It had a barbecue about this big on the table. It was like
It was super local. It was like very much like full Japanese immersion.
It was
like,
nice.
The waiters were all yelling at each other, but like, you know, like in the way that they do in Japan. It was great.
It was
great.
friendly. It was happy. It was tasty.
It was really
I flicked
tasty.
some meat at you. I'm like, here, eat this.
You did, yeah. Thank you. I got to. It was so tender, better than any beef that I've tried in Australia.
I don't
honestly.
eat beef. I don't eat beef. You know that. So I was like, okay, on holiday,
Treat yourself.
as in Rome, and oh my god, maybe just made it twice as good because I haven't had it
So
before.
so good.
So yeah, had meat, and then that was it. We went back, went to bed, and got back by midnight.
It was really cute. As we were leaving the yakiniku place, the owner took a Polaroid of us.
Oh, that's right.
Of everyone all together, and then gave it to us.
That's
Yeah,
cute. I
it's
remember
funny.
that.
It's funny. Yeah. Everyone had such a good time that somebody walked out of the store so distracted and like fell on these bicycles, and they all like dominoed over each other. And we're like,
Yeah, because the bikes there not locked up.
no.
Like thievery and stealing is not really a thing because everyone's just polite and they trust each other. So
Yeah.
there were heaps of bikes. None of them were locked up. So that's why they all fell over like dominoes when you run into them.
It was funny.
That's our WCS adventure. Getting there. Then the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then when we get back, we're going to talk about the competition itself, the after parties, and then the onsen after parties. What happens?
What happened to Lewis?
Where is Lewis?
What happened at the onsen party?
Where is
stays at the onsen party?
Yeah.
What is the World Curry Festival? What is the World Sausage
What's
Summit?
World Sausage Summit? Why is Yaya Han mummy? Find out in part 2 of the WCS Adventures.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We really appreciate you clicking on this episode out of all the episodes.
Yeah, you
And
could have
we're-
done anything, but thanks for
Yeah.
tuning in. We really appreciate
Yeah,
you.
and if you were making your cosplay in the background of this, we hope you made some good progress today, and that we didn't distract you too much. Okay.
It's good story time. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully you'll tune in and want to listen to the next part because there's more fun parts to come.
More chaos.
More chaos. More drama. It's good.
Anguish.
Dreams.
Destiny.
Fate. Beautiful things to happen. Terrible things to happen. That's what cosplay is all about. Anyway, thank you very much. We'll see you next time we post part 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.